Going live, going live. Oh, look at that. Look at that. This is what I always do. I used to do these not TikTok lives, Facebook lives during COVID. I used to do TikTok lives I keep on TikTok. I wasn't even on TikTok during COVID. During COVID, I used to do Facebook lives once a week for my Retro Roadmap website. And I'm telling you, as Little Edie would say, I'm telling you that every time I would get on the camera, I'd be like, oh, that's what my hair looks like? Yes, this is what my hair looks like. So good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or wherever you may be. Hey, you'll notice I'm back inside. I'm back inside because not only is it wicked hot outside. Hey, Carla, nice to see you. Fun Zoom we had last night, huh? Your hair is a party. I like that. That's like a good lyric for a song. Maybe I'll have my husband write a song for me and call it, and one of the lines would be, your hair is a party. Trust me, if I did not have product in this hair, I would look like a mop-top beetle circa 1964, okay? So yay for product, okay? So good morning all. Good morning one and all. What was I going to tell you? I was going to tell you, there's just because we're here, it doesn't have specifically anything to do with clutter, but a glimpse into just the humanity of it all is I reposted a video. On my TikTok page intentionally because it really helped me today. And I know that people have told me when my videos help them, so I wanted to not only give some nubbins to the creator of this video, but also in case this is something you struggle with. And what I just am struggling with right now is this right here. I saw a picture of myself with my 57-year-old arms in it, and I was like, whoa, my arms look like that? Funny thing was, as I was thinking about it, so I shared that. I was like, you know what? I can't be the only woman of an age who's like, what the heck is my body doing to me? Okay? So that's the reason I shared that video. The one that says, and I love it, I probably can't quote it right now, but the size of your arms is the least interesting thing about you. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Because I'm just kind of jumping into this part before we get to clutter and stuff, but I think it's a lesson well learned. I also wrote about it on the Destination Decluttered Facebook page. I am kind of turning that into a bit of a long form, a bit of a blog type thing, where I can expand, almost like the written version of maybe what a podcast would do. I'm also going to start a podcast. I mentioned it to the people on the Zoom last night. So I'm thinking about doing that, but just getting a little bit deeper into stuff, because to me, that's where the good stuff is. Okay. Carla said, I love the sharing and the ideas shared. So yes. And I love it. Your hair is a product of care and love. But here we are in our bodies, our spirits, our soul, the fire in us is ageless and timeless, evergreen. It's love, soft as an easy chair. Love, fresh as the morning air. Okay? However, our energy, our soul, the electricity, the thing, our personality, whatever it is, doesn't have an age, but boy, does our body have an age. Much like 50,000 miles is usually when the warranty expires on your car. Sometimes I think the human body was made to last, and then we're kind of breaking down a little bit. We are decomposing. And recognizing that and learning to be okay with it. I wrote about this, as I mentioned, on the Destination Decluttered Facebook page, just to let you know that if you're struggling with this too, you're not alone. Now, I'm not about to turn myself into, a menopausal, body coach, but how you feel affects how you think about yourself affects how you feel. And what I would like to say to you too, what I said from that was I learned that much like I coach you about clutter, I coach myself. When I had a crappy thought, oh my God, my arm looks so big, I felt crappy. I was walking around this morning going, I'm getting old. My arms, why didn't tell me my arms looked horrible? My friend who took the picture of me, I don't think she was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post a picture of Beth's fat arm. No, she was probably looking at my face and the joy that I had when I was pointing to the band and had a good time. Now, when I was pointing to the band, you happen to see this. So I said, you know what? I am going to learn to be okay with this. Because when I feel better, I do better. And that's the same coaching approach that I use with my clients. So I do this myself. I struggle with things that I tell myself bad stories. You know, your arm is too big. You really should work out. I can't believe you're not more muscular. Oh, that looks so horrible. You should be ashamed. Why didn't you cover that up? Those are just a few of the thoughts that go to my head when I looked at my arm. And I said, you know what? These arms, they wave around. They're dancing. They're pointing to the band. They're hugging people. These arms, I've got 8 arms to hold you. That's a deep cut Beatles reference, okay? I'm struggling with it. I'm working on it. So I'm just saying this to encourage you to whatever you're thinking about yourself, you can practice switching the narrative. Tell yourself a better story. You feel better. And then, oh my God, I started feeling better. I've had some really good convos on Facebook about this. Even people I know who's like, you know what, we never talk about this, but yeah, I'm feeling the same way. So if you're struggling with clutter, so you know what, now Beth, Destination Decluttering Life Coach, hello. I bring that up to remind you, if you're struggling with clutter, you're not the only one. No. Even me today, Destination Decluttered lady who talks about and does clutter all the time, who has pretty much decluttered her house. I went down the basement. I dropped some stuff off at the Goodwill earlier this week. I have another like load of stuff to bring from the basement of things that I hadn't made decisions on, and then I looked at them today. I'm like, oh my God, just put it in the box. So when you feel different, when you feel better, you do better. That's, and that can happen if you want to change the muscles, but this thing is going to continue decomposing. But your brain, when you start feeding it good thoughts, when you're giving it nutritious things to think and feel, then maybe I will start lifting weights or something. Or maybe I'll just be happy with however my body is. It feels so better. So, Jen B, that stinks that you had no power until 9 p.m. I've only attended 1 Zoom meeting so far. That's okay. That was the June Zoom, as I like to say. And within the next week or two, I'll be sending out a really good email to the Destination Decluttered mailing list. Speaking of, if you're struggling with paper clutter, we're going to have a paper clutter, a paper party. Somebody here recommended that, and I thought, oh, what a good idea. I shared it with the people on the Zoom call. Zoom call is for people on the mailing list. Mailing list is free. DestinationDecluttered.com/join if you want to join in. So Sunday, the 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern, because somebody asked if it could be not so early in the morning. But I'll send out the info in an email so you don't have to. So I will be here for you today. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Elaine is saying, thank you for my hair. Yeah, you know what's really funny? I dyed my hair for years. I didn't like the color. And then all of a sudden when it started growing out, I was like, maybe my hair color changed, or I kind of like it. I secretly, frankly, was hoping to have more gray. I have some friends that have gone fabulously gray. I have a little bit of that like distinguished temples things here, but I also am getting the gray eyebrows too. So my hair guy is also now my brow guy, and I do dye those, and I have plucked out some, because I have those really like pointy ones. But enough about me and my aging body, okay? We could talk about that every day, but I am here for you. And maybe your aging body, but I would rather talk about clutter in your home, okay? Because I think it's fun, okay? Yeah. So, hey there, everybody. All right, user 36451, you struggle with clutter. What's your struggle? What's your struggle? Okay? Where are you struggling? Where, actually, when I do my consultations with clients, I'm looking at the pages right now, and I have a few, like directly after this today, is I have a standard set of questions I ask all of my clients. And so the very first one is like, so what brought you to schedule this consultation? You have an issue, you have a problem with clutter. What do you think is jamming it up? How does it show up? Whose is it? Where, who, what, when, where, why? So ask yourself the question and listen for the answers. And then write that stuff down. So, because the more you know what's going on in here and in here, the more you can see what you're dealing with. But if you never get in touch with what's going on, you're going to probably do the same things over and over again. The surface level stuff. You'll think, oh, I need to just buy this product. I need to buy this container. I need to set up a system. I saw something the other day, and I need to. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you how much I'm starting to not really like it when people say, pull everything out of your closet? No. Please don't. That's going to overwhelm you, and then you're going to make kind of that in the it looks worse before it looks better mode. You make it overwhelmed and say, oh, I've made things worse. Then you're going to freak out. Then you're going to be, it's all piled on the bed, and then you push the clothes over and you go to bed next to your clothes. Chunk it down. Pull, all your blue things out, or all, actually, a really good category to chunk your clothing down in the closet if clothing's your jam is the following. Shirts is a category. Don't pull all your clothes out. Select them out. Play the matchy-matchy game. I'm going to pull out only tops. Only tops. I feel like an 80-year-old woman calling it a top. I'm in the Mrs. department of Felines. Pull out your tops. Then you're going to have categories. Summer, winter. Ones I fit into, ones I don't fit into. Long sleeve, short sleeve. Ones that I really like, ones that I'm kind of on. Chunk it down, okay? Chunking it down helps you overcome the overwhelm. If you're overwhelmed and don't know where to start when you look at your entire closet, I'm pointing at my closet if you can't see it. I got a closet right here. I have very few things in this closet. I do. I wear the same things over and over again. And I'm cool with that. And your mileage may vary. You may be a lot more stylish than I am. That's cool. Don't overwhelm yourself. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel the feeling of overwhelm, you can do something about it. I can help you with that. Oh, how handy. Trust me, this is not one of those fake infomercial plugs that just happened to be that we did some dishes in my mug that I made for myself. If I was one of those ASMR people, I'd probably be doing this, but I cut my nails short. I wrote this to myself. I hate that. Oh, gross. Slow down, breathe down, write down, chunk down, all the downs. Quiet down, calm down, slow down. Put your hand down on your heart. Breathe down to the bottom of your lungs. Shake it off. There's not a down. Going down. Get down on it. If you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed, move your body. Calm yourself down, quiet down, and then when you feel better in your nervous system, when you don't feel as, you feel a little bit better, then you're going to do better. And the best way to get started is to start really smallly. Okay? I mentioned clutter and overwhelm and your nervous system because this right here, I call it your heart when I talk about your head, your heart, and your hands because I like alliteration, and it's an easy way to remember it, and they're also in a certain order. It starts in your head, it goes to your heart, and then if you decide to move your hands or not. Okay? So, Christine says you love it when I share my personal stuff. Well, thank you. I'll do more of that if you like it. I definitely have boundaries. I have certain things that I will share. I'm getting better at those types of things, but there is a certain level that my inner New Englander immediately goes, that's none of your damn business. That's who my parents used to vote for. None of your damn business. Okay. You're funny and helpful. Yeah, you know what? When you have fun, you're going to be more likely to learn something, or you're going to be like, hey, you know what I remember? She made it rhyme. She burst out into song. She made it easy to write down. I hate it when things are boring just to sound like a smarty pants. To me, it's when you can explain something complex in a simple way, that I like. My dad has been dead for 13, 14, how many years now? Almost 14 years. I still struggle with saying what he did for business. He tried to explain it, and he's like using jargon, using fancy words. He worked in an office. He was in finance. He wasn't 6'4". He didn't have blue eyes. He did have blue eyes. But anyhow, I like using simple words. I like using stories. I like it. I like learning when somebody says, it's kind of like this thing that you already do in your life. That's why I typically talk about things in the terms of a roadmap, okay, and a road trip, okay? So Cat Mama emptied the double closet, okay? Super Mom is asking, how do you tackle? I love it. We always say tackle clutter and purge. Why the angry words? How about play? How about playing with the toys? Okay, yeah, tackling. Everybody's tackling. Everybody's shuffling. Why are you tackling it? Are you a linebacker? I mean, I may be gaining weight enough to be one, but no, don't tackle your clutter. How about get curious about it? How about treat it with curiosity and interest and play, a sense of play? Let's not tackle. Let's, instead of tackling it, play it like it's a game of football. Tackling it. I gotta tackle it. If you think about it differently, part of thinking is changing the words in your head. From tackling to I'm gonna play with the toys in my kids' room. So notice also you said supermom. Notice the words we use can be very indicative. And the neat thing is you choose your words somewhat carefully when you're here because you only have like a sentence or two, right? How do you tackle kids' rooms with all the toys? Well, first of all, you chunk it down. You don't do all the toys. You chunk it down. Well, I'm gonna pay attention to the toys that I don't play with anymore. I'm gonna move the biggest toys first. I'm gonna start with the gigantic 3-story Barbie dream house versus that, a bunch of little Legos, because that's gonna give me room, and I need room to spread out and sort things. What I say with kids' rooms though is teach people from an early age how to declutter. Whatever age you are, you can learn how to declutter. And decluttering is a good thing. It is a wonderful life skill to have. You know this because you don't have this life skill at the moment, or the way you're doing it isn't giving you the results you want and the feeling you want while you do it. So don't you want to learn? If you learn it, then you can teach somebody else. I say learning this for kids because I didn't learn this growing up. I didn't. I grew up in a cluttered home with collectors and people who probably grew up in cluttered homes themselves, or because my dad was the only boy in the family, people did things for him, so he never learned to do it himself. He just expected, as a man on the planet, that somebody else would do it for him. Now, I say, let's change that narrative. So get your kids involved. Get curious about what toys they play with and which ones they don't want anymore. Your kids evolve out of toys. Oh, I don't play with that anymore, Mama. That's a little kid toy. I'm playing with my big kid toys. The stuff they're not playing with, get them comfortable with when you're no longer using something. There may be somebody else out in the world who could really use it. Kids who don't have toys. And little kids have generous big hearts before they get exposed to the world and hardened up. I would like to think that little kids want to share. There's some kids out there who don't have any. It's not like I'm taking all your toys and giving them to somebody else. Let's take just the ones you're no longer playing with. A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time is how you get it all done. But you don't get all of it done in one fell swoop. Okay? Jenny is also tackling your dining room that has turned into a storage room. Interesting thing to me is because I live in a house that was built in the 50s, and I was talking to a client yesterday who lives in, I think, like a brownstone in Brooklyn, that houses were built in certain eras reflecting how people were supposed to live. I don't even have a dining room. We have a room that we used to be called the dining room. We don't dine. It's my husband and me. We sit in the kitchen. We have a big kitchen. Notice what you're using your dining room for. Now, you don't maybe want it to turn into a storage room. Maybe you want it to turn into a dining room. But before you even get started to tackle it, envision in your head what you want it to look like. How do you want it to function? Do you still want it to be a dining room that's set up for when you really are only using it as a dining room like 4 times a year? Or maybe you dine all the time because your kitchen is small. I don't know these things, but you do. So before you start tackling anything, get a vision in your mind. Get a destination of how you want it to look. Look is the surface, okay? Surface stored sentimental. How it looks is on the surface. How it functions is the stored clutter. Able to find something easy, use it easy, put it away easy. And then how you feel in that room is sentimental, is right here. Notice those 3 layers, how there's a parallel between them. How do you want the home to look, that room to look? Think it up, write it down. Listen to here, write it down. How do you want it to function? Write it down. How do you want to feel in that room? When you walk in that room, how do you want to feel? Now, this was interesting, too, because I worked with a client who just started yesterday, and she said to me when I asked her these questions, because when I coach with somebody, I give them the skills to deal with the overwhelm, much like I did right now, and then the very first thing we do is we say, okay, we're on this road trip together, where are we headed? So define your destination. And she said one of the things that resonated with her, notice when something resonates, you're almost like, oh, that got me in the feels. That I can feel that. It's just not, oh, yeah, whatever. It's like, ooh, that got me. She said that she heard Oprah say once, when I open up my door, I want to feel my house rise up to greet me. And she doesn't currently feel this way. Now, notice the words you use make you feel a feel. So I hear that. It doesn't really resonate with me because I think of Flory on Pee-wee's Playhouse going, hey, everybody, because the floor is rising up to meet you. And then also then I get the Public Image song, May the Road Rise With You, based on the whole Irish, prayer or whatever, blessing. What I like to say is when I walk into my house, so maybe this will help you. That was her words, made her. This is what I like to think. When I open the door to my house, when I walk into every room, you know what I want to feel? I want to feel, I want to feel relaxed. I want to feel open, that I can breathe in there. When I look around, I'm smiling because my eyes are looking at things that bring me joy. I want to feel and not ugh or meh. I want to feel I'm looking around this room. Feels pretty I've got some clutter around there, but I'm dealing with it. Wind down. That was another one. I just saw that. Yeah, wind down. Melissa, good one. Okay. Lasardo was saying, Beth, you helped me simply get started on an overwhelming room. I started this advice. I am listening. Good. See, this is why I do it. Thank you for giving me the feedback so I know what I'm sharing is working. If it doesn't, I'll explain it another way. But notice that when you calm down your body, the nervous system encased in this aging skin and bones, that you feel better. And when you feel better, you're going to do better. And not just for yourself, but for somebody else. Okay? Notice these things. Okay. Excuse me. We wore what? Struggling getting rid of clothes because of nostalgia. I love this. Any tips? Someone suggested making a quilt. Okay. If I felt like getting up right now, which I don't, what I would do, I will, instead of me walking into the other room, I could show you two things. I could show you a tote full of sentimental t-shirts of my husband's that I literally, within the last half hour, we brought up from the basement because I found it when I was looking for more mason jars to give to my neighbor, but that's another story. So I know about sentimental t-shirts. You're not wearing them, but they remind you of something. I have ones down there, a few of them myself, that I need to go through. I have done the making a quilt route. A number of years ago, I didn't make them myself. There's this company that I used called Project Repat that helped them, and that worked out well. I have 2 little lap blankets. It took about maybe 25 t-shirts because it's like a 5x5. You know, it's like something you put on your lap. And so that helped do something with 25 of my t-shirts and 25 of my husband's. He and I are both music fans, so we have a lot of music t-shirts, and still he has a tote. And when I was down there, I was like, hey, time to go through this again to see if you still want these. Do you fit them, or have they changed from clothing into souvenirs? And if they are souvenirs, then yeah, what do we want to do with these? Now, sometimes these decisions take longer to figure out. Case in point, I was down the basement again looking at things, and my eye rested on this little kind of go in a grandma suitcase, little flowery thing that was mine for decades. It wasn't mine OG. I thrifted it at some point, but for years, for decades at this point, my 35 millimeter camera from college and high school and a few of the lenses that I had, that's where I stored it. It's been there, and I thought, I want to do something with this, but I'm going to wait for the right thing. Maybe I'll donate it someplace they can sell it. Check this out. I saw it today, and I was like, you know what? When I was up in Massachusetts, my niece, who now goes to the same school that I went to, I graduated from UMass Boston, and that's when I got my degree in art history, and I got a photo minor. She came into the house looking adorable, as all my nieces and nephews are, and she was wearing and taking pictures with a vintage, I say it's probably like the 80s, could be 90s, but not a digital camera, a film, 35 millimeter film camera. Now this is when I'm like, wow, I am of an age because I was your age doing that. Now it's retro to do that. But I got in touch with her. I immediately texted her and said, hey, I just realized I have my 35 millimeter stuff. I'm going to be seeing Auntie Pam this weekend. Would you like this stuff? She's like, oh my God, yeah. Feeling good about a decision you make and finding a good home for it. I don't know. You'll have to look at Repat. People are asking. Yeah, you know what? Here. I'm like, See, notice getting started. I'm like, I don't want to get up, you guys. Here. See how much I like you guys? Okay, here, hold on. Actually, this is what I'll do. I'll yell down the hallway to see if my husband will bring it, okay? Let's see if it works. Hey, boo-boo. Hey, I'm on a TikTok live. Could you possibly, it's nice and cool out there. Could you possibly bring me one of those lap blankets that I bought, or I made from t-shirts?
Where?
It's in the basket next to the bed. Felix is on top of it. One of them's there. Delegating. It works. Find it?
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. And here, come say hi.
Okay.
This is the guy right here.
Hello.
All right, now leave.
Bye.
Okay, so here. This is not an infomercial, people. I'm just saying this worked for me. So this is the one I got made for him because it's his t-shirts. And it's what? 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's 16. But it's a lap blanket. You put it on your lap. You cozy up under when you're watching TV. And these were his t-shirts. So that's how it looked. You did have to do a lot of cutting. But notice this. Excuse me. Google it. Google it. See if it works for you. You can also do ones for your bed, but I didn't want one on my bed. I like having them folded up that sometimes we're hanging out on the patio in the fall and it's a little bit chilly. I have a basket of blankets like this because I like to be all cozy. Cozy cone. And so I keep smaller blankets like that. So just an idea. Okay, I have one with my t-shirts too. It's probably there too because his t-shirts tell a different story than mine do. You know, like, it happens. So there we go. Little Black Dog. You know what you did? So Little Black Dog is saying, I invited my family over to dinner to force myself to clean up. Yeah, in the biz, as I like to say, in the biz, we call this external motivation. Because somebody else is going to see it. So you're more like, you may be motivated by if somebody else is going to see what you do. Not necessarily doing it for yourself, but using people's arrival as a kick in the pants. I use this to a certain extent. I'm pretty self-motivated. However, if somebody's coming over my house, that allows me to kick it into gear. We had a musician friend last week come by to do a little bit of remixing and something. He had never been to the house, and he loved it so much he did like a little promo video for a show he was doing. And I'm just like, oh, check this out, because my house looked neat. Now there's a video on Facebook and all the socials about a show that was coming up. So I made sure the house looked nice before he came here. But here's the thing. Here's the wonderful thing. It really didn't take much. It took like 10 minutes barely. And it was just the surface clutter of everyday living. It was dishes in the sink, you know, wiping down some surfaces, boom, done. It wasn't the big freak out of, oh my God, Adam's coming over, better clean the house. No, because I started decluttering, and we keep it. We have a routine of just living decluttered. Okay? Okay. There we go. Miss Seashell brings up a really good point too, and this might help the ADHD people because I have been told this by people I know, clients and non-clients, who do have ADHD. Notice I didn't say struggle with it. You have it. It's how you're wired. No biggie. Miss Seashell says, I saw my living room on the pet cam, and I realized how cluttered it was. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Because when you get some distance from it, that's one of the reasons why often if somebody's coming over your house, you tend to see things you've never seen before. This is why it happens. It's brain-y. You walk around your house all the time. Your brain is desperate to keep any energy it has, so it does not really register a lot of the stuff that's around you that you see all the time. I call this stuff blindness. You get used to what you're around, and you really only are kind of dealing with stuff. You've got your blinders on. You don't see the things. When you know somebody's coming over your house, you take off the blinders and you look at your house with fresh eyes. You look at your house through the eyes of somebody else. Now, I am really used to doing that because I used to be a visual merchandiser, Pier 1, Mikasa, Filene's. So I am so used to getting out of my own head and looking objectively at surfaces and saying, does that look good to the customer's eye? That's why my house is merchandised so well. That's why my stuff looks so good. Because I've practiced looking at it, not just with my eyes. But here's the thing I want to mention, is to get that distance, to look at it with fresh eyes, one of the things that can be helpful is to take a picture. You will notice details in pictures that you don't notice when you're surrounded by the 360-degree version of it. When you notice what is looking cluttered, then you can know what to tackle, what to deal. Notice I said tackle, but know what to deal with. Know what to do. You know, so the distance of the camera, can help you with that, to identify what bugs you about that room. Oh, that looks really cluttered. And notice you're not like, yep, that's my room, I like it. You're saying, oh no, that I don't like how that looks. I want it to look different. Okay? There we go. Somebody said I had to clear the spare bedroom because my brother was going to stay with me for a week. Yeah, and typically spare bedrooms, at least where I live, tend to be the places that the pitch and ditch room. This room used to be that until we changed our habits. Yeah. Oh, Carla's a client of mine, full disclaimer. Carla is saying, this process has been so eye-opening. Yes, notice the eye-opening. Do not lose the words we use. Your eyes have been opened, and your heart probably. I have decided to get to the root of the why and plan forward. Oh, man, you're so good. You are such a wonderful client, Carla. Because you know why? Carla is wanting to get to the root of it. Not just say, I don't care what it is, just give me some clear plastic things and some new shelves and I'll be good. No, because that's not decluttering, that's organizing. Organizing, there is a part of the process that organizing isn't part of, but decluttering comes before the organization. And learning how to declutter and the habits of that and practicing it so you never have to do the big declutters again. Am I doing a little declutter now because I was down in the basement and I found some stuff? Yes, but I'm also not bringing in items with the frequency that I used to in the past. I no longer thrift. I no longer shop for entertainment or to make myself feel better. I go out and shop for solutions, and my solutions are pretty minimal. Cover my body with, cloth and food, And sometimes I go to enjoy my eyes. Like my sister and I are going to Ohio this weekend for a vintage festival I'll see a lot of stuff, but I'm not planning on buying anything. If I see something that lights me up like a Christmas tree and I want it, of course I will allow myself to get it. I'm not going to live in denial. But what I've noticed is when I allow myself to say I can get anything I want, that calms down my nervous system. And I'm not coming from lack and, oh yeah, I'll show you. And then if I want it, if I really want it, if it turns on the green line in my heart, turn on your heart light, I will buy it. But I also know I love the glasses I have. And this is drinking glasses, not glasses. But if I see ones that I really like, I will allow myself to buy them. But I won't buy a set. I'll buy a pair because it's just my husband and me. So it's fascinating, people. It's fascinating. Okay? I love it. So sentimental about stuff, says High Life 238. Yeah. Surface stored sentimental. I'm sentimental like nobody's business. But what I realized is, and this may help you, is two things. One is notice that you get attached to items. You probably get attached to items because you have attached a story to an item. Where's a thing? I don't know. Here, this thing, okay? This is a thing. It's got like a little pop-top lid. It's got a little spoon in it. I think it was for sugar or maybe salt. Now, this is something I have here because sometimes I stir my tea with it. I know that this came from my husband's house, his parents. It might have even come from Holland because his mom was Dutch. I'm thinking it did. I use this because it's functional. And, however, when his parents passed, we did not keep everything they owned. We have selected a few items that remind us of them. Will we forget they existed? No. But we attach stories and meanings to things, which means we can also detach it. You attach it, you can detach the story and the memory of how much you loved that person and how awesome they were, and keep it in your heart. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with sentimental items. If anything, I get really curious because I am a sentimental person. I get really curious about the people who aren't sentimental about anything. They may be robots. They may be robots because when you're sentimental, your heart is activated. You're feeling feelings. You're feeling feelings of joy, feelings of ennui, feelings of sadness, feelings of heartbreak, feelings of love, feelings of laughter, all of those things. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that, and there's a lot right to it. Getting used to feeling your feelings reminds you that you are not yet AI generated. Okay? Jackie Condon is glad to catch a live. Yes, so I do these TikTok lives pretty much a number of days during the week. It depends, because I am a flexible person with a flexible lifestyle, and I freaking love it. Okay, and I apologize. This is wonderful. I'm getting some really nice texts from friends because somebody says come over and use my pool. But, okay, now notice this. Where was I? I got myself distracted. It happens. I will get myself back on track again. So Destination Decluttered TikTok Lives happen a number of days a week. And actually, here we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so I did one on Tuesday. It was at 7 a.m. Eastern. They're always going to be Eastern because I'm East Coast. Wednesday, June 19th is noon. And that's right now. So I'm checking that one off. I have one more TikTok Live for this week, which is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then there's going to be a gap there of a number of days because, okay, right. Oh, right. Okay, yep. And then I have some for next week too. And then I only schedule things out every 2 weeks. Maybe it's left over from when I worked retail and we had a 2-week schedule and then you change it, but things happen in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested, if you like these TikTok Lives, there's a schedule posted on the front of my Destination Decluttered page. You also got notified of these way before anybody else if you were on my mailing list. So if you're interested in the mailing list, get on that, destinationdecluttered.com/join. The mailing list people and I also had a Zoom call last night, a free group Zoom call. And also we talked about doing like a paper party on Sunday the 30th. So people on the email list will find out more about that. Okay. Jackie, if you love having people that give me the permission to get rid of things, here, permission slip. Here's a permission slip. Go give it to yourself and permit yourself to get rid of the stuff you don't want, the stuff that makes you go ugh, the thing that makes you go meh, the thing that makes you feel like, I have too many of these. Get rid of the stuff, you get rid of the feeling, and then you feel so good. And Christine is saying the June Zoom call was great. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I have fun with these. I have fun. I want you to have fun too. To me, if it's boring, I'm not doing it. I can, but I don't enjoy it. It's like going to school. All right, I'll learn this. But do you ever have those teachers that made things fun? That made things, you were engaged. They told stories. I will never forget. I feel like as the years go by, I think of one teacher in particular, Arthur Goyette. He taught geography, but it was geography like nobody's business. He made it interesting. He told us the geography of the mall. He shared the geography of how houses were built in steel towns. He made it interesting. Okay, and I love it. Jackie says, since watching you and meeting my BF, I've gotten rid of a bunch. Awesome. Yes, Carla says, yeah, some people try to guilt you into keeping things by saying you will just throw anything away. Notice what they're doing. They are kind of putting their hang-ups on you. When you're cool with yourself, and Carla, I know this about you because you are a strong woman. You are. When you know yourself, you don't allow somebody else's opinions to ruffle you. You're just like, as I quote Mike Nesmith of the Monkees often, that's your hang-up, man. You know, that's your hang-up. I talk about backseat drivers in the kind of that when I'm doing coaching, and we talk about you being the driver in the car of your life, but you've got voices in your head. One of is your backseat driver. The other one is like your co-pilot. Me, I show up in co-pilot energy all the time. Let's do this. Let's make fun. Like, where do you want to go? Let's go. I can help you. I'm in the passenger seat of your life all the time. However, sometimes you have backseat drivers. Sometimes it's a voice in your head. Sometimes it's the voice of somebody in the real world. How do their words make you feel? You can choose to just ignore them. Yeah, it's not easy. Trust me, I know it's not easy, but it's worth it. To be like, yeah, you know what? No, don't guilt. Guilt is an unhelpful. Guilt, shame, embarrassment, all those things keep you stuck. When you're no longer guilty, when you're not ashamed, when you're not embarrassed, you do wonderful things. Okay? You do wonderful things. And I try to make this fun. That's why I talk about things like road trips and show you, the stuff that I've done and share my struggles with clutter too. I have a framed thing right here that I'm trying to figure out. Do I want to frame? I know I might want to hang it up. I don't like how it's framed. Where I want to hang it, it might degrade. All these questions, And here's a funny thing. Pinky Silver Chloe, I'm learning Zoom. Awesome. I didn't know how to use it when I first started. Repetition. Practice takes the stress out of it. I talk about, story time. Real quick. At one point in my life, because for decades I had jobs, but I wasn't really like, what was I put on this earth to do? Except for in the last couple of years, this coaching thing, I fucking love it. This to me is the culmination. I had to learn all this stuff to show up at age 50 plus to say, oh, now here's how I can help the world. One of the jobs I had in my past was working for a professional framing company. I'm pointing to the thing that I was struggling framing, and I was afraid to cut the glass. Cutting glass, I was afraid of it breaking. I was afraid of blood and cutting myself. Stress, stress, stress. I have to hand it to the guy who owned the place. He could tell that I was stressed out about it because I was born stressed because I had a stressed out mother. So I tried to avoid the things that stressed me out. And finally, one day he said, you know what, here, all these little frames that have the little broken glass, I want you to take them out there and I want you to cut glass for all of these. And I was like, really? This was the wonderful thing. The first few, I was like, I'm scared. It's going to break. And I was like, oh, it didn't break. Oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. Oh, that wasn't bad. Hey, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it took a while for me to calm down my nervous system of the thing I was afraid of. Okay? Yeah. And notice how when you feel a certain way, you're gonna do the things that are easy and you're gonna avoid the things that you're afraid of or that you just don't have the skills to do yet. You know? Even if I wasn't afraid to drive the car, if I didn't know how to do it, I probably wouldn't do it, or I'd try it and I would probably wreck it. So you learn. You have somebody who knows what they're doing and is a good teacher to teach you. Now, I say this because my mother was a nervous wreck. She was not the person to teach me how to drive the car. So therefore, it was like, well, if I'm not going to teach her, if this isn't working out, so they paid to give me a couple of lessons. I got my license and then I practice over and over and over and over again, and I freaking love it. A thing I was afraid to do in my teens has now revolutionized my entire life. My entire life has been about driving on road trips and road trip metaphor, and how ironic is it, don't you think, that the thing I was afraid to do, if I had stayed afraid, none of this would have happened. Okay? And the thing I'm laughing about actually is so Pinky, learn Zoom. Practice using Zoom. Practice saying, oh, that's screwed up. How can I problem solve this? And calming down that whenever you make a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn. Barbara is saying she is that teacher, but I sure am the most cluttered teacher too. You are helping me. Good. Because you know what? Last summer, I didn't realize that clutter tends to be something that happens to a lot of teachers. So I had a number of one-on-one clients last summer who were teachers because they had the summer off and they had some break between their classroom and they could deal with the clutter in their own homes. And then the neat thing is the last many sessions, what they learned about decluttering their homes allowed them to better declutter their classrooms, and even how they set up their furniture and what things they kept and how they kept them. So teachers are awesome. You people do not get paid enough. So I am happy and honored to help the teachers. Okay? And I love this. Catherine said, for those of you not watching the comments, or if you're watching the TikTok on a recording on YouTube, Catherine just says, don't get stuck in the fog. Acronym time, fear, obligation, and guilt. I love that. Yes, fear, obligation, and guilt. Are you keeping something? Ask yourself this question. So these are the questions you ask yourself. Decluttering. So simple. So simple to remember. What is this thing? Do I want it or not? Now that's a deep question. Am I keeping this because of love, or am I keeping this because of fog, fear, obligation, guilt? Notice why you're keeping something. Excuse me. I got a tickle in my throat. Notice why you're keeping something. Keep it because you love it, or it brings you joy, or it works well. I like to say the opposite. Now, this doesn't necessarily opposite it in the real world, but I have an acronym. Do you find bus? Because I like to think of driving. And sometimes, like when I'm on TikTok lives or I'm doing group type things, I'm the bus driver. So I ask you this. Is it beautiful? Do you think it's beautiful? Do you believe it to be useful? Do you find use in it? I think this is pretty awesome. It's got like beautiful. It's got this little Art Deco dealie. Is it useful? Yes, I can stir my tea with it. And then this doesn't get the little tea marks all over. Sometimes I need to clean this out. Is it sentimental? Yes, actually, this one checks 3 boxes. Sentimental. Yes, it reminds me of my mother-in-law. I keep it. Yeah. Other things, I'm like, I don't know. Whatever. So notice these things. Okay? Listening to you, it's helped me get rid of the teaching things I don't really need. Yeah, so there we go. See, Catherine, and notice this wonderful exchange we have. We are collaborating here. We are a community. It's not me up on the mount telling you this stuff. I'm here with you. You shared with me an acronym of FOG, fear, obligation, guilt. I shared BUS with you. Here, look, now we both get to benefit. And because you and I had this convo, everybody here does it, okay? Everybody benefits, okay? When you share what you have, everybody benefits, including mason jars that you didn't want. I have a TikTok video that I'll be posting sometime this afternoon because I've got a busy afternoon, but about me decluttering, the incremental process of decluttering my own stuff. You know, I have stuff that I deal with as much as you do. Okay? So, Destination Decluttered. What do? I'm a decluttering life coach. I show up for you on TikTok doing these things. I do videos, so if you like what I do, consider following my page. That's wicked easy, and that helps get the word out to more people. These TikTok lives, there's a schedule there when you go to the home page of my TikTok page to follow it. You can check out the schedule for tomorrow and also next week. I also do, really important, I do one-on-one coaching. Now, one-on-one coaching is wonderful. I freaking love it, as do my clients. It's an hour a week for almost as many weeks as you need in 10 session increments. So if 10 sessions do it for you, that's great. If not, 20 will do it. It helps move at a pace that feels comfortable for you. We meet on Zoom so you can practice your technology. We meet on Zoom once a week for as many weeks as you need in 10 session increments. And all we do is pay attention to you. Now here, you've got to share me with over 100 people. When it's one-on-one coaching, it's all about you and where you want to go and where you're stuck and what's jamming you up and what your stories are and how you are feeling. And you deserve to feel good. You deserve to live in a house, in a home that makes you feel good from the moment that you open your eyes in the morning and putter around the house to puttering around the house before you go to bed, walking from room to room and feeling good. You deserve to feel good in this body that you have before this body leaves the planet. So if you're not feeling good, you can do something about it. And the wonderful thing is, it's a wonderful habit to learn that doesn't just exist in the decluttering space. It's not like if you learn how to play piano, there may be some transferable skills to guitar, but not really. But when I teach you the skills behind thinking and feeling and doing stuff about your clutter, you can use that same thinking, framework, that process, that system, that method, whatever fancy word you want to use, that way of thinking and feeling and doing in other areas of your life. Decluttering your schoolhouse room, for example, or decluttering your friend set, decluttering your kitchen, decluttering your car, decluttering your career, decluttering your brain. It's so funny because I use the word, and I have it right up here. I have some words to remind me: abundance and generosity, flexibility, peace of mind, and delight. Delight is my big one, I've decided. Peace of mind. We talk about peace of mind. This is when your mind is nice and quiet. It's not yelling at you to do something. And to me, but peace of mind is also a feeling right here. And it's not in your mind, unless maybe your mind is here. Maybe your brain is here and your mind is here. But a peaceful, easy feeling, as the Eagles would say. It's nice to hang out on my porch and not have to do a goddamn thing. And not to have anything in my house yelling at me. You really should put those dishes away. I really should go down in the basement and do that. There's a certain amount of that should do, but it's so quiet. You can be, quiet down. Alrighty, so somebody's got a question. Scoops is saying there's a Partridge Family song. Backing it up. Oh no, that's totally Monkeys. Walk out, girl, don't you walk out. We've got things to say. I'm a wicked big Monkeys fan, so yes. Talk out. Next thing you know, I'm doing the Davy Jones. I'm playing the tambourine. I swear, I imprinted on Davy Jones and the Beatles between the ages of, 1 and 10. I married a musician, and I live in a house that I decorated with inspiration for the Monkeys beach house. So notice this, okay? Yes. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Okay? All right, my Sprinkles of Life says, cleaning and decluttering gets me moving, which has helped with weight loss. 2 birds with 1 stone. Exactly. And here's a fun thing, because I know that they also measure weight in the UK is stone. You could also use a double meaning with that. Yeah, put on your heart light, put on your pedometer, put your phone in your pocket when you're walking around and doing what I've decided this week to call a putter and declutter, just going from room to room, tidying up a little bit here and there. When you putter and declutter and put things away where they aren't supposed, where they're supposed to be, notice that you are getting steps in, getting your steps in the house. You're getting exercise, you're moving things, you're picking up things, you're stretching, you're bending and stretching, okay? There we go, okay? There we go. Cat Mama had all the albums. Yeah, you know what? I got I will share this. This is a decluttering story. I got the Monkees records. I can pretty much tell you, holy Moses, it could be 1976, June. It was around this time in June, because I remember school was getting out. And we were over at the Murphy's house, my mother's friend, the Murphys. And I was sitting there, totally remember where we were, in front of the TV. I was like 9 years old at the time. And a commercial came on Channel 56 for this greatest hits of the Monkees. Now, I wanted this record like nobody's business, but it cost like $5. And we didn't have any money. And so in an attempt to connect with the cool older daughter, Diane, I turned to her and I said, I want to get that album. I don't know. I just felt like, I had to say something. And she said, really? Hey, come upstairs with me. Now, she was years older than me. She was moving out of the house. She had been probably my age or a little bit older when the Monkees came out. She had all the Monkees records. She gave them to me. Holy frickamole, I still have them. They are so scratched and written on and messed up. They are so sentimental. I will never, ever, every other record pretty much in my collection could be put away, given away. They stay with me. But you know why I got those Monkees records was because I spoke up for what I wanted and I shared that with somebody. I had it in my heart. I had it in my head. But if I had kept it there and I hadn't said anything, Monkees, hear no evil. If I had kept it to myself, I never would have gotten what I wanted. But I was brave enough to share what I wanted. And then the universe connected me up with somebody who had what I wanted. Okay? Notice this. Notice these things. Yes. Okay? So notice these things, my friend. We've got about 8 minutes left, and then I hop on to some coaching and consultation all this afternoon. Wicked busy day, but awesome day. Notice what you are going to do after. What are you going to do after I sign off? I know what I'm going to do. I've written it down. This is one of the things I do with my clients is I show you how to, roadmap your day. So you get the stuff done you have to do and want to do, and you notice when you have the time to do it. What can you do today to get yourself a little bit less cluttered than you are right now? Keep it small, keep it easy, keep it fun, keep it actionable. A couple of ways you can do this, and remember at the beginning of the call, if you've been on for the entire time, we talked about calming down, slowing down, all these things, is chunking down, writing down these things. You can chunk down time. You can say, today I'm going to declutter my kitchen for 15 minutes. It's a chunk of time and a chunk of your house. You can say, I'm going to putter and declutter, and I'm going to spend a certain amount of time puttering and decluttering, and I'm only going to look for trash. I'm only going to look for things that are in a room they don't belong. Declare what you want. Share it here in the comments if you helped, and then stay accountable to yourself. I haven't talked about this in a while, but decluttering helps you with your decision making, and it helps you keep promises to yourself. If you promise something to me, you may be more likely to do it. I want you to develop your trust in yourself, that when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you don't ghost yourself. You don't crap out on yourself. You don't make an excuse. You don't call yourself up and be like, yeah, so I said I was going to do it, but I totally don't want to do it. Or you just don't do it. You're like, I forgot I was going to do that. Never mind. Here I am. Scrolling. Okay. There we go. Little black dog is dropping off stuff to the thrift store. Cat Mom is picking up the room, all 3 upstairs for Mom and me. Yeah. Gail is headed to DI. I think of drive-in movie theater, but that's just me because I used to write about retro stuff. But 2 bags full. Yay, me. Yes, and the yay me is paramount. Chrissy is asking, what are your favorite all-purpose products to use? My brain and my heart. And whatever random things I have around the house. Your brain and your heart are the best tools you will ever use in your toolkit. And a pen and something to write down something with. Pretty simple. I don't recommend organizing products. That to me is not where it's at. That is a temporary solution. If you are cluttered, buying and organizing product is a Band-Aid, but it's not going to solve the underlying issue of the clutter and why you're cluttered and also how to get uncluttered and how to decluttered, I should say, keeping on brand, how to get decluttered and how to stay decluttered. Once you're doing that, then, buy some pretty things to put your stuff in. Look at me. I get pretty stuff to put my things in. But while you're decluttering and deciding what you want, the quantity and quality, you can use an Amazon box to put your stuff in and label it temporarily until you decide on the quantity and quality you want. Okay? There we go. Miss Sprinkle's going through the kids' clothes. Yeah, notice how you grow out of things. Your kids grow out of clothes. I've grown out of clothes. I don't fit into some clothes anymore. But also style-wise. Things that used to, or maybe they didn't wear well. Maybe they shrunk. You know? Yeah. How about that? Going to clean out some of the car, says Princess of a King 7. Awesome. Go clean out that car. It's going to feel better when you're driving around all day. That's a wonderful thing. This came up on one of my coaching calls yesterday, so I'll share it with you. Is we were talking about that temporary discomfort versus the long-term delight and satisfaction. You spend a little bit of time doing this, and you get hours of feeling better. When you take 15 minutes even to pick up some stuff in your car, then every time you're driving around in your car, you're feeling better. You spend a little bit of time decluttering your home, you walk around, you're feeling better long-term. Notice that your resistance to the temporary discomfort is stopping you from just living a life you love that feels good. Okay? And my sprinkles of life, just think about that. Ghosting yourself. Yeah, when you say to yourself you're going to do something and you don't, you're ghosting yourself. You're letting yourself down. And that's not a down I want you to do. I want you to think of, how can I practice showing up for myself like I do other people? I deserve not to be ghosted. How would I feel if a friend ghosted me? When we said we were going to do something, I'd be hurt. So when you ghost yourself, you're hurting yourself. Don't hurt yourself. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to live in a home that makes you feel good. And when you feel good, it is a positive ripple effect to not just you and other areas of your life, but the people around you. When you're not feeling good, because you know this, when you're not feeling good, you're cranky, you're snippy, you're short, you're greedy, you're tight-fisted, you're holding things on. When you feel good, whatever, this is cool. You're slow to burn, you're generous, you're feeling good, you're loving, you're patient. Love is patient, love is kind, love is never boring, love does the dishes, all those good things. You should have that kind of feeling in your life, and I don't mean to sound or infomercially, but you can learn how to do that and get your house decluttered at the same time. Practice these skills and see a visible difference and feel the difference that the visible difference makes, and then feel the confidence of, hey, look what I did. I made this happen. I didn't just call somebody to do it for me. I have some people do that. I have experts do things that I can't or don't want to do. But decluttering is a life skill. That a temporary discomfort of monetary investment, if you coach with me right now, you will have skills for the next 70 years or however long you're on the planet. You will have a way of thinking and feeling and acting and doing and showing up that gets you all the good stuff you want. Okay? There we go. Good stuff, everybody. All right. So, all right, my sprinkles of life, struggle with your mental illness getting in the way, then work on, I'm trying to think of the right word, pay attention to your mental illness. Do not consider it a sentence. Learn how to live with how you're wired. Do not be ashamed of it. Get some help. Practice the things. Find out what works for you. Do the things that work. Find out what doesn't work. Change that. But deal with what's going on in here, and that will improve. It will make it easier to do the stuff outside. Okay. Now I have to scoot because I have clients and coaching and consultations, all those things. But I will see you tomorrow on TikTok. If you want, I will just say this. If you want me to be your coach for the summer, there are a few consultation slots left on destinationdecluttered.com. Snag them, because my coaching, and I'm not saying this to be fearful, it's just a fact of the matter. My calendar is filling up, and I'm only one person. I only do my coaching myself. It's just me. So when it gets to be too much, then I don't accept any new clients. Okay. So if you want to be my client this summer, schedule a consultation. There's some next week, and then I'll update the calendar. But the sooner you get started, the sooner you're just living and feeling better. So get started. Okay. I got to go. All right. I'll see you guys. And, oops, maybe I'll go to the pool later. All right. Boop. There we go. Bye.